unfortunately, that's not quite the standard. We usually hold our fingertips at the center of the forehead, so it's not quite accurate from the Seicho-No-Ie point of view. But she does look very meditative, so I use that for purpose of practicing Shinsokan meditation. And to ask about the purpose of practicing Shinsokan meditation, we must ask the creator of Shinsokan. And actually, our founder, Reverend Masaharu Taniguchi, began Shinsokan, I think, even before Seicho-No-Ie. It was that elevation in reaching the place of enlightenment through Shinsokan meditation that gave him the energy to initiate the Seicho-No-Ie teachings for all of humanity. And the one received enlightenment through the process. Our founder, Reverend Masaharu Taniguchi, has appeared at the beginning of his article in the September 2011 Truth of Life magazine. And here he's saying, we human beings are not a physical body. We are a spiritual existence. Shinsokan is what makes us truly realize this fact. To have just an intellectual understanding of God will not make God our own. And throughout all of the Holy Sutras, it's reminding us always that this physical body is not a true existence. Our true existence is the true image within. And so he's once more. And one of the important aspects of Shinsokan is it gives you that sense of realizing the going deep within, of finding your true self, and realizing that the physical body is a reflection of the mind, which is what we learn in Seicho-No-Ie. So we must feel and experience the true existence of God with our entire body and soul. Shinsokan allows us to do that and lets us practice Shinsokan faithfully. And this is why the three practices of Seicho-No-Ie emphasize. Of course, the first is reading the Holy Sutras and the holy books. But the second is Shinsokan meditation, and the third of deeds of love, sharing the truth with others. So this is one of the key practices of Seicho-No-Ie. As we practice Shinsokan regularly, our intellectual understanding of the truth that a human being is a child of God becomes an emotional understanding, and we advance still further to grasp the truth with our whole life. So this is to get the essence of Seicho-No-Ie, that is that going deeply within in Shinsokan meditation. When we begin to realize that God is not a mere theoretical existence or nominal existence, but our very life, our lives will begin to change and take on new meaning. And this is a very important truth of Seicho-No-Ie. The true image is really God's image. And we use the sense true image because in Genesis, God says, and God made man, male and female, in his own image. So this is and our founders says that first chapter of Genesis is really the creation of the true image. And that's how we can understand it. The second chapter, mist, comes down at the beginning. And here he said, this is the phenomenal world. So that's an important way of seeing the distinction between true image and phenomena. Throughout the Holy Sutras and holy books, we're constantly reminded that we are spiritual beings and not physical bodies. That when we look in the mirror in the morning, we see our physical self, it's hard to sense that this is not who we are. So we are very much identified with a physical being, but of course our founder teaches us the 5 bodies of man. And the 5 bodies of man is, of course, the physical body. The etheric body is the body of sensation. And the third is the astral body, was the body of emotion. And the fourth is the spiritual body, the body of intellect. And the fifth is the main body. And the main body is our true image self, or the child of God within. And when we make the transition to the spiritual world, of course, the physical body stays behind, the etheric body disintegrates, but the astral body and the spiritual body and the main body go on to the spiritual world. And that's really our soul. And so when we so when we go to the spiritual world, we still have our personality. So we pray, read the Holy Sutra for our ancestors to help them to elevate even higher in the spiritual world. Living in the scientific world of the 21st century, we revel in the progress and innovation in the physical world, and most people have lost contact with the deeper truth within. Shinsokan is a pathway to connect to who we truly are as a part of all that is. So we can get in contact with really our true nature. And it's important to make that distinction between that physical ego self that's always kind of that voice in our mind, and the true self within, which is really an observer. Sometimes we call the witness. And Shinsokan helps us to make that distinction that there are really two of us. And one way of thinking about it, that voice in your mind is really very much like nowadays we have Siri or the other chatbot, or all of the artificial intelligence is very much like that voice in our mind, which is really our own Siri that's speaking to us. And because it really contains all of what we've learned in the past, but it's not who we truly are. It's trying to protect us in the best way it can, but sometimes it'll take us in the wrong direction. And so we are the one who really makes the choices, and our true self is, when we get more and more contact with that, then we are able to make better choices. Reverend Seicho Taniguchi, in his book, Shinsokan is Wonderful, points out some of the benefits of Shinsokan meditation. So he states, let us draw out our infinite power. So the more that you realize that there's more you than you may realize, and you can draw it out when you have that strong intention to accomplish something, and you place it in God's hands and place your full concentration in that direction, and wonderful things appear. And also our ability to concentrate will increase because we're focusing in Shinsokan ever deeper to who we truly are within, to get closer and closer to that true image self. And our creative powers will develop. So in the 21st century, we tend to be very analytical. We use the left brain, but going into Shinsokan meditation, we're calling up our intuitive powers and developing even further, which increases our creativity. And we can develop our unique individuality. We're in close to who we truly are. We're in connecting more and more with who our true self is within. And we can express more and more our God-given talents and abilities. We can develop the courage to conquer unhappiness and difficulty, and also the merits of sudden guidance. And what we mean by sudden guidance is that when unexpected difficulty appears, when you've been doing Shinsokan, you're connected to the world of the mind and God's world, and it will give you the guidance to make the right decision at that time. So, for example, our founder, Reverend Masaharu Taniguchi, talks about the time. At that time, he was living in Asakusa, and he was there for the 1923 Great Kanto earthquake. And they were living on the second floor, and so everything in Tokyo was shaking. And so he left the house, and the thought came to his mind, oh, should I go to the Tama River or should I go to Ueno Park? And this is where sudden guidance was go to Ueno Park. And as he learned later, because it happened at the noontime, and many people were cooking with open flame, so there were a lot of fires began because of the earthquake. And the textile mills were on the way to the Tama River, and people who went in that direction were overcome from the toxic smoke of all the fabrics that were burning because of the that had started because of the earthquake, and so they were overcome before they got to the river. So so that's when you're able to hold a cold, when you have a traumatic experience happening, if you can maintain a calm mind and place it in God's hands and listen for the right answer, the right guidance, then you'll be taken in that way. One of the interesting books I've read was Creating Miracles by Carolyn Godchild Miller, and she's a practitioner of the Course of Miracles, which in some ways is somewhat in the same area as what we study in Seicho-No-Ie. But the book is really about 50 testimonies of people who were in a traumatic situation, and they placed it in God's hands, and they got the right answer. In her case, she was driving up in Southern California, and here in the wintertime, the snow level is about 5,000 feet. So she was driving up the highway, and she was getting quite high, and she hit an icy road, and she lost control. And she remembered the driver training of, if you're in a skid, you should turn in the direction of the skid. But turning in the direction of the skid was pointing her towards fortunately there was a visitor's area there, so there was a parking area, but then there was a long cliff going down from the mountain. And so she was heading that way, and she was kind of placing in God's hand, and just at the right time, she had the word, turn now. So a voice kind of told her. She turned, and she took the car back across the other side of the road. But it was that, and so that sudden guidance had saved her from going over the edge of the mountain. Well, that's what's meant by sudden guidance. So Shinsokan helps us to release ourselves from the ego-focused analytical mind and allows the spiritual creative mind to appear more strongly and connect us to the world of the mind and the ongoing support of the universal wisdom of the universe. And the more you have confidence in accepting the guidance that you receive, you'll be making good decisions. This is and so that very often people, when we focus in the analytical way, something like the yellow pad, should I do this or do that, pros and cons and so forth, and making a decision in that way. But actually, when you go to the creative mind, like in Shinsokan meditation, you place a question in before you go into the Shinsokan meditation. And during the meditation, or perhaps sometime afterward, you'll get an indication of what is the best way to go. You'll have a good feeling about one direction and maybe not such a good feeling about the other. And so when we're connected to the world of the mind has some idea of how our life will unfold from there, and can help us to make the right decision to move forward. So this is connecting to that other kind of intuitive mind, and being calm and at peace and receiving guidance from the world of the mind and the universal wisdom of the universe. As Reverend Masanobu Taniguchi relates in the book Daily Prayers on page 86, we can call forth the seeds of reality in Shinsokan. Dear God, as a child of God, I will not neglect to always hold firmly in my mind all the virtues you have. Every day I'll practice Shinsokan meditation and call to the surface of my mind the seeds of reality in your world that have been planted, and using the power of seeds of love, a cheerful expression of loving words and words of praise, I'll push forward to carry out the actions that express your virtues that dwell within me. So this is a way of thinking of Shinsokan as allowing you to connect to the essence of what is your mission here on earth. By connecting deeply within, we will realize more fully who we truly are and what we should be doing. And now let us look at Shinsokan through the eyes of an elementary school student, Marina Yamamoto, learning Shinsokan for the first time, as she explained in her testimony in the November 2011 Truth of Life magazine. One day my mom said, I'll attend Shinsokan meditation tomorrow morning. Do you want to go with me and join the meditation? So this is Marina, her experience. She said, I wasn't sure exactly what she meant, but I wanted to go with my mom and join the meditation, so I replied, yes, I will. So her mom told her she would have to get up at 5 a.m., so she went to bed early. In the morning, she felt happy and noticed it was still dark, and on the way, there was no traffic or people, so she felt it all a bit mysterious. Arriving, she said, so this was actually at Aiko-san's house, and they had a gathering every morning to do the Shinsokan meditation, and here they were joining it that day. She said, at first I had no idea what to do in meditation, just imitated what the other people were doing. And yet I felt something good, with my heart warmed and filled with a happy feeling, and I wanted to come back again. So that was kind of her first experience. And on the way home, she saw the sunrise and said it was so beautiful that I felt very happy. Returning home, she said, I ate my breakfast and went to school. Strangely enough, I did not feel sleepy at all throughout the day. Actually, I felt more strength in my body than usual. I was able to spend the whole day in a bright and cheerful mood. I enjoyed playing with my friends more than usual. I was also able to do my homework more smoothly than usual. So just beginning Seicho-No-Ie meditation, but because she began the day in that very calm place in her mind, everything was unfolding very upliftingly and happily. Today, 2 years after my first experience, I've learned the Shinsokan meditation by heart. And together with my mom, I practice Shinsokan before I go to bed and every time I find some time. So I've stopped dwelling on things and feel confident in simply doing my best regarding the things I now have. If I have a difficult or negative experience, I'm able to handle it by thinking that the things I experience are helping me grow and mature spiritually. So seeing everything, even a difficulty, is a lesson rather than being in that judgmental mind. I like this, I don't like that. But every experience is an opportunity. You can be grateful to every experience. Some will be blessings and some will be lessons. So that here at a very young age, she was also already learning that way of going through life. She mentioned many good things have happened since she began Shinsokan. After becoming a sixth grader, she checks her work more carefully and makes sure she has her homework and schedule for tomorrow before leaving school. She also has become good at asking the teacher if there was anything she didn't understand. So she became very involved in her studies and wanting to do the best. At her sixth grade graduation, she unexpectedly received the Math Olympia and the President's Award. She was very happy to see President Obama had signed the award. She is now in middle school, where she said, we have physical education class, and every month we have exercise to run as fast as we can around the track for 10 minutes. I was born with a weak heart, so I'm not very good at PE. Therefore, in the past, whenever I had difficulty breathing, I stopped running and took a deep breath because I was afraid. Each time I did my best, but at most I was only able to run about 3 laps around the track. However, on the last day of the running exercise, I felt I could do much more, and I really wanted to do so. So she had that drawing out kind of her infinite potential. And I was able to run 4 laps, which is 1 full mile. My teacher was always very strict and serious, praised me in a loud voice, and gave me a high five. I was very surprised at my result, and I was very happy. So the Shinsokan is strengthening her life in many different ways. From now on, I'll try to do things without thinking that I'm not good at or can't do such and such, and challenge myself to do a lot more, drawing out that infinite potential. Nothing is more helpful for feeling good than starting a new day with Shinsokan meditation. At night, I can sleep well after practicing Shinsokan. So here's the expression of a young lady who learned the Shinsokan and put it into practice and began to see wonderful results. And she said, now I'm able to give thanks to all the people with whom I'm interacted during the day, my teacher, friends, neighbors, and think of them each as being a child of God. I'm very grateful to my family. My father works for my family, and my mother takes care of me and my family. So grateful to her parents. That's a wonderful Seicho-No-Ie student. I'm now able to spend every day with a warm, happy mind. I'm grateful for this. Thank you very much. So there's your purpose for the Shinsokan meditation. So we see in her testimony how Marina, in drawing her spiritual child of God self to the fore, and discovering a calm mind capable of responding to challenges and drawing out her infinite potential, rather than seeing things as good or bad or being anxious or negative, she credits Shinsokan as starting her day feeling good, being grateful, and looking for lessons, not blame, in her challenges. So it strengthens your sense of being, and you're able to make the right choices and look at the world in a very harmonious way. And when you look at everything with eyes of gratitude, good things just naturally happen. So this is a result of putting aside the anxious ego self and stepping into the calm power of a child of God, one with the universe, and recognizing more and more her true image. This is the purpose of practicing Shinsokan meditation. So one of the first important aspects in the beginning is kind of silencing that voice in your mind, be able to really communicate with that calm, quiet self within, and gradually go deeper and deeper, closer and closer to your true image. A positive prayer is Shinsokan that sees the wonderful true image. And this is from Open the Doors of Your Life, Volume 4, page 175. Shinsokan is not simply a prayer. It is to steadily see with our mind's eye the kingdom of God, the true image world, and the real world. We steadily see with our mind's eye the kingdom of God itself, that brimming over with every good thing. The result is the wonderful abilities, abundance, and happiness of the kingdom of God appear in our lives naturally, one after the other. And also from the Truth of Life magazine of September 2001, be in tune with the wavelength of the true image. Your real self is your true image, eternal bliss, and Dharma love. Since you are true and complete existence, you'll naturally strive to fill any void with compassion and love, and this requires continual giving. When the indestructible, indwelling true image begins to manifest naturally, it will appear as freedom, courage, and vitality. Fear and anxiety will leave of their own accord. Since the true image is of infinite wealth and infinite resources, it will manifest as infinitely abundant supply in the phenomenal world. In order to realize the many virtues to fill your void, you must be in tune to supply this in the phenomenal world. In order to realize the many virtues to fill the void, you must be in tune with the wavelength of your own true image of eternal bliss. To be in tune with the true image, visualize the true image of eternal bliss and contemplate on it. You can do this through ceaseless prayer and Shinsokan meditation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And that's the end. Thank you very much. And I thought we'd do a Shinsokan practice, but if there are some questions or comments, we could listen to those first. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this lecture. It was really great to understand more about Shinsokan. I always hear in the mornings I do Shinsokan meditation with Reverend Mario Kawakami with a group here in New York City, and they always say that the proper posture is really important. And when I meditate, I prefer to sit with my legs crossed. But for Shinsokan, we need to sit closer to the edge of the chair with our toes planted in the floor. And I was wondering if I cannot sit cross-legged. I'm trying to do my own thing.
Well, the explanation is that we're a little bit like a spiritual battery. And so when you put your hands together and your feet together, you're kind of connecting the circuit. So crossing the legs is really not quite as quite as good. So that's why. But the founder says that this is the recommended posture, and you can do what is necessary for you to achieve your goals. It is okay. So it's someone who's not able to, is maybe ill, not able to get out of bed. You can even do Shinsokan lying down. So it's not that. So this is from his experience. This was the way he got the best result, and so that's why it's taught in that way. So this is kind of the ideal, but we're not going to make you wrong. We're doing something that fits your situation better. So that's important. We give that the ideal as our founder taught, but each of us is an individual, and so you want to kind of listen to your inner guide and what brings you to the best place. So you don't want to be in the situation where my hands are a little bit low. I did it bad today. We don't want to be judging ourselves like that. And start with, in the beginning, it can be quite, your arms can get tired. So, you can rest them for a moment and bring them up, or you can bring your elbows against your chest. So whatever enables you to continue in the best way is good. And so that in order to get the highest experience, he's shared with us the best posture and so forth. But it may be in the beginning you're not able to maintain that posture the whole time, and so you need to make some adjustments. But the more that you can go back to the recommended posture, the better result you can have. So that's totally. But I think it's important not to be. What you want to do is use your inner guidance, and gradually what feels best for you will work the best. So that's. But
Perfect.
you can follow.
Thank you very much.
What's been taught. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We're
I
not
have a
going to
hard
make you
time
wrong.
sitting down. Yes, it's really uncomfortable for me to sit down. So I end up not paying attention or concentrating. But I will probably, with time, as I'm more practiced, maybe that will come more naturally. So I don't need to force it.
You can try it out the regular posture, and then for a time, and just gradually it'll become more comfortable. But in order to be able to get the best at what your present stage is, it's okay to make adjustments to make it more comfortable for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you, Lillian. That's a very good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just like to do one comment. That as a clarification that you made that was very good for me, is when we have a self-talk, talk to us all the time, and then you mentioned the self-talk is not us, yeah. And what I like that you taught us that if you are not the self-talk, who you are, and you told us that we are the ones that makes choice. So thanks for that. It's very, very important because I always have this confusion in my mind. If we are not our self-talk, who should we are? So that's great to know that we are the ones that make the choice. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a way of thinking about it now that we have like Alexa or Siri that
right.
They have whatever accumulated knowledge there is, and they can respond to us and so forth. And so that's kind of our own inner voice is that it's the voice of karma. It's the voice of our past experience, and maybe even ancestral experience and past lives experience. But it's really the voice of the past, but the true self is the one who makes the decisions going forward. And so the more that you can quiet down the voice in your mind, the more that you can elevate your true self, and receive wisdom directly from the universal source. So
fantastic. Thank
way
you.
of thinking about it. So I mean, it's help. It's nothing. It's helpful. But it's best in Shinsokan if you can be in silence.
Right.
But not to get upset, because your ego is going to try very hard to distract you. So one way of thinking about it is when something comes up, it's kind of like passing clouds in the sky. You don't focus on the clouds, but focus on the blue sky behind. And gradually it quiets down. So just everything, and so just approach in a very calm way, and it's best to keep your center and not you want to kind of put the judgmental mind aside and just focus on getting clearer and clearer as you can. We do focus on the posture, but you can begin with what works for you, but gradually try out get closer to the recommended posture, and as it gets more comfortable, you may find that you get a deeper result.